Yeah, well, I had a friend who, he liked to read a lot, and he was reading a book for Spookathon, and he didn't finish it on time. So when he didn't show up to work on Monday, we got kind of worried about him, and I knew Ned didn't keep his doors locked, so I went in to check on him. What I found when I went in burned into my memory forever, and it taught me something important. You gotta finish them books. And they all fit perfectly. It's a wine lamp? I don't know. I think it looks cool. This is the last one to put in, and I have no idea what it is. It just says 2016. I don't know. So we're gonna put that right. Well, then you won't see it. There. There it is. So I think this is cool. And it has a USB port, so I can charge my phone and my Apple TV remote on this end table without needing a separate plug. Alright, so I'm gonna do something I haven't done in a while, which is to cook with you. So this is gonna be like a little cooking vlog, only spooky, a spooky cooking vlog. Because I'm not only making spaghetti, we're really angel hair, but I'm doing it with Hell House by Richard Matheson sitting on the counter next to the food while I cook it. So it becomes spooky. See, look. See how spooky that is? So I'm using a sauce that I bought at Home Goods, which is basically Marshall's. I have found some of my favorite sauces there. There's another one that I got that I absolutely adored, and I found on Amazon, and I'm gonna order it at some point, but I haven't done it yet. This one is called The Vine, and it is just marinara. I like that it's all non-GMO and organic, low sodium, no sugar added. The ingredients are so simple. Organic tomatoes, organic tomato puree, organic flesh, spooky flesh onions, fresh onions, organic fresh garlic, organic extra virgin olive oil, organic fresh basil, Himalayan pink salt, organic black pepper. So that is so simple, and I think it's gonna be good. In fact, I think it's gonna be good. I don't just think it's gonna be good. I think it's gonna be great. So let's get cooking. Oh, Philip got scared. It's So while I'm cooking dinner, I'm going to take this wine and I am going to put it in the refrigerator. I opened it last night. It will still be very good tonight, but I want it to be just a little bit cool, so I'm gonna put it in the refrigerator. Right next to the mustard. That's where it goes. Oh, it's marinara. So this is espresso cheese, which I don't know if many people make this, but basically the cheese is rubbed in espresso powder or beans or grinds. And I'm not drinking coffee right now, and I'm not having caffeine in my diet at all. So I'm hoping there's not caffeine in the cheese. I'm assuming there's not. I'm just gonna have to avoid that part because that's coffee. All but none for filling. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, that is way too much water for that little amount of pasta. And you're right. It is. Oops. Yeah, so I just ate that plate of deliciousness. I did not film myself eating because you don't want to see that, and also because I just wanted to eat, so I did. The wine is lovely, chilled. Red wine should actually be a little bit cooler than room temperature. I didn't always know that. The meal was good. The cheese was good. And now I'm gonna clean up, which is also good. By the way, is it not awesome that I have a wine lamp? I have a wine lamp. Look at it. The awesome thing about this lamp is that all of the, well, I bought the lamp at Target. They sell a lot of lamps that are just clear glass and you can screw the top off and fill them with whatever you want, except liquid. But yeah, so I got home and I thought I'm gonna put something seasonal in there, and then I realized, wait, I've been collecting wine corks now for years, and I have never known what I was gonna do with them. I mean, I have had, these are all probably like every bottle of wine I have had since like 2013. So it makes me look like I drink a lot. And so does this channel, by the way. But I don't drink that much. So I got home and I realized, oh, that's actually the perfect thing to fill this with, is wine corks. And what's cool about it is that I pulled out a few of the corks that I remembered the wine and like the story behind the wine, so I could like make sure they were visible on the outside of the glass. So there's one here from a wine sale they had at the end of the Food and Wine Festival at Epcot. You can actually go in and buy wine at a discount by the bottle, so I did that. A cork from the winemaker that I'm drinking tonight, Klein, C-L-I-N-E, because they make my favorite Zinfandel. And a few months ago, in one of my vlogs for some other readathon, maybe Thrillerathon, I went to a wine bar in Disney Springs called Wine Bar George. And I included like a snippet of that evening on my vlog. And that night we drank a really amazing, really expensive bottle of Zinfandel called Moritzen. And we shared it because it was very expensive. And I got to keep the cork. So I put that cork on the other side of the glass in the lamp so you can see that as well, because it's cool. And I love it because I feel like wine is just like a social thing, and all of these corks have stories. I don't know most of them, but I do remember those few, and that's cool. So now I have like a conversation piece lamp. So now it is 11:30-ish. So what I'm gonna do now basically is clean up the kitchen and possibly take a shower and settle down with that book over there that Stephen King calls the scariest haunted house story ever written. Let me go get it. Hell House by Richard Matheson. This, he is the author of I Am Legend. So I'm excited to get to this. This is going to definitely be the last book I get to, I guess, during this readathon, because I only have tonight and tomorrow to read. I'm looking forward to this because this is the first like legitimately like spooky book. Like, I've read spooky books. They're all spooky books. You know, Water Shall Refuse Them is spooky. It deals with witchcraft and it's very disturbing. Coraline is very, very creepy and spooky, but this is the first, like, it has like, you know, a demon on the front of it and bats and stuff, and it's a haunted house. So this is like Halloween themed spookiness, and this is what I have been looking forward to. So I'm gonna get to this soon, probably about 12:30 maybe. I'll get to this and see how far I can get, and I will update you later. Okay, I've got some stuff to do. Goodbye. Well, hello, Your Majesty. Hello, everyone. All right, so 12:30 turned into 2:06. It's 2:06 a.m., but that's mainly because I realized after cleaning the kitchen that my sheets were in the wash and I had to wait for them to finish and then put them in the dryer. So, life. Yeah, so it's 2 in the morning, and on the second to last night of this readathon, this is, let's see, I had Sunday night at midnight, which was technically Monday, the beginning of the readathon. So this is night 7 for me For a normal person, they're probably thinking of it as night 6. I don't know how I did this last time with Spookathon, because the way I read makes it kind of confusing, because I always start the readathon at midnight, but I like my Spookathon vlogs to be just nighttime for the dark, spooky ambiance of it. So I just do night 1 through 7, but this is the 7th night, but then tomorrow will be day 7 and there will be nighttime tomorrow. I don't know how I'm going to do all that, but anyway, neither here nor there, because here we are. So yeah, so it's 2 a.m. I read the first chapter of Hell House by Richard Matheson, and it is giving me absolutely a lot of parallels with The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson, just plot-wise, in terms of the scary haunted place that people have tried to, discount before. People have tried to stay there, but they couldn't. Unexplained deaths, etc. And the ownership was in question, and now he's sending 3 people to go analyze it and find out if something about it is true. This rich guy is one of the people that's going to be there, is somebody who survived the last time this was done. So it reminds me a lot of Haunting of Hill House, because I'm pretty sure there was the guy who was a member of the family who stayed with everybody in Hill House in that novel. So there's a lot of parallels, but it's really just plot, not the writing style at all. I need to be up by noon, so I don't really want to be up past like 5, because that's 7 hours of sleep, and that's fine for me. So I'm going to see how far I can get into Hill House by 5. Well, I am a quarter of the way through this book already. I am on page like 77 of 300. It's a page turner. I'm really liking it. Hell House is like The Haunting of Hill House meets Michael Crichton-y sort of writing style. Nah, not the writing style, but just the way these 3 different people have their ways of dealing with the house, especially so far. Is her name Florence? And Lionel, both having a very a keen sense of like professionalism about how they approach the house, and they both do it very differently, but they're respectful of one another's different ways. I like that his wife is in the house with them because she wanted to be with him, but she's not experienced with this kind of stuff, so she's a little bit more easily rattled. So far, I'm really digging this. The way Florence reacts to the hauntings is really awesome. She's so like unfazed by it. There is an awesome scene with her and I guess a ghost in her room at the end of the first night they spend in the house. I enjoyed all of them wandering around and exploring the house. The way they all discussed their methods and their philosophies about this kind of stuff as they were first getting to know one another is sort of where I get the Michael Crichton thing, because it reminds me a little bit of the Andromeda Strain, which is such a weird thing to compare this book to, but in terms of how they all come from different disciplines but have mutual respect for one another and listen even if they don't agree with one another. Yeah, I'm really liking this book. I just kept on reading 77 pages later. I switched the video that I was watching to like an old favorite haunted house thing, and it turns out to be absolutely perfect for this book. If you're reading Hell House and you like having like ambiance videos or ASMR videos playing while you read, this is a great video for it. I should probably link this in my description. I've linked it before. It's what I often will have playing while I'm reading Dracula too. So Hell House is awesome. I'm sure I'm going to finish it by the end of tomorrow, so that's cool. It's 4 a.m. and I'm going to try and read until 5. See how far I can get. Alright, so it is now 5:30. I'm up a little bit later than I meant to be, but that's okay. I had to finish the chapter that I was in. I am on page 120 of Hell House. It continues to be awesome, and the Haunting of Hill House vibes continue, but it has its own thing going on. It does seem to be sort of traversing into the sort of land of horrifying, possessed, haunted, evil spirits and histories and spaces having somehow to do with sexual perversion, which is an annoying trope to me, but it is kind of traditional for gothic horror, I guess. And in that way, it is reminiscent of Dracula a little bit. So this book is written in sections, and it follows individual perspectives of the people in the house when they're on their own at night. And then when the next day happens, it's written in a sort of an omniscient way, where they're all in the room together and there's a lot of head hopping going on. In other words, the author is giving us insight into what the inner thoughts are of all of the characters from one paragraph to the next without any like delineation between them. I haven't read very many books that are written that way. It almost works in a way because it's sort of like they're all being watched, or like as the reader you're hunting them, sort of, or I don't know. I'm getting a little bit deep now, but so it's interesting how it's written. I think it works. I mean, it's really flying by. I'm more than a third of the way through it. I'm almost halfway through it, actually. Yeah, Hell House is awesome. It's 5:30 or it's 5:29, and I'm gonna go to sleep. Bye.
It's your turn to get up now.
You ready? Come on, let's go. So I don't make it a habit to eat dinner in bed, but I am down to business tonight because it is almost 9 and I have 3 hours left of Spookathon. I want to get as far as I can through Hell House. I want to finish it. I don't know if I can finish it before midnight, but I'm gonna try. But first I have to eat, so this little TV dinner thing from Target is going to nourish me, and I'm gonna eat it, and then I'm gonna read this, and it's gonna be great. Yeah, I'm really tired, so I hope that doesn't interfere with things. Fell asleep, you guys. But I was only asleep for like maybe 10 minutes. Gee, I can't figure out why. I only slept like 5 hours last night. So, yeah. I'm on page 174 of 300. Woof. Alright, so I'm going to try something new. I'm going to read out here on my patio, or lanai, because I am doing well. I have about 100 pages left, as I said. Looks like that. So I should be able to take a big bite out of what's left and then finish this in the next couple of hours. And then start editing. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't remember what happened last year for the end of Spookathon. If my last vlog was late, I'm just gonna do the best I can. And I'm gonna read outside now until the bugs devour me, and then I'm gonna give up on that. I enjoy this book. It is claustrophobic, and very few characters. There is a lot of like possession and chasing lizards. There's no chasing lizards in the book, but that's what my dog is doing. Possession leading to sexual liberation and how that's a sign that someone is not themselves, especially with regard to one of the female characters, and that's like an annoying old trope. I don't see that happening with the male characters. So that's lame, but again, is very like Victorian and very like Dracula. But yeah, it's claustrophobic. It's well written. I like the format of it. Every day is a chapter. So this day that I'm currently reading is like the longest chapter ever, but it's split up by like timestamps. So then you get scenes that are with really bold headings. So it feels like kind of like that's a chapter. And those are usually really good stopping points because that's usually when Matheson is switching to follow a different character in the house. I'm intrigued by the house's history. It has a lot of like wild abandonment of cultural norms and stuff like that having led to sexual craziness in the house in the past. So it is very Victorian in that way. But I don't know. It's got a cool, spooky vibe. It's been a really good read so far. I will have read it pretty quickly once I'm done. So that's what's going on, and I'm going to try and finish this, and I will get back to you. Okay, goodbye. Sit. Good boy. So, it is technically... It's almost 1, actually. So Spookathon is over on the East Coast. But I'm, like, not worried about it. I am less than 100 pages from the end of Hell House. So I'm going to finish it. And then I'm going to have ice cream and watch, like, a scary movie or something. I don't know. So at my grocery store, they have really awesome clearance sales on wine sometimes. And this was on clearance. This is so dumb of me, but this was on clearance, and it was still $15. So that made me feel like, ooh, it must have been a pretty good wine when it was full price. And it is good. Yeah, it's dry. It's like a glass of sand. That's how I like my wine. I was gonna cut slices of that cheese that I used in my dinner last night, but frankly, if I may be so bold as to be this frank with you, I'm saving room for ice cream because Spookathon will have been over. And I have vlogged a lot and I've read quite a bit. Some surprises in my life. It's been a long week. So I'm celebrating when it's over by having ice cream, but we're not there yet. So yeah, this would be really good with chocolate. Anyway, so I am that far in this book and I'm excited to see what happens. So I'm going to read, and when I speak to you again, I will have finished Hell House by Richard Matheson. The scariest... Wait, no, let me get it right. The scariest haunted house story ever written, says Stephen King. So, I hope I'm okay.
Perfect.
It is 3:25, and I have finished Hell House. So Spookathon is over, not only officially, but like for me, I'm done. I finished 3 books: Water Shall Refuse Them by Lucie McKnight Hardy, Coraline by Neil Gaiman, and Hell House by Richard Matheson. So Hell House. I'm very torn on this book. It was engaging, and I couldn't put it down. I loved the vibes. I was not scared. Did not love the ending. I sort of feel like there were too many explanations. It was kind of like the ending was overwritten. I don't know. It was like the end of a Star Trek episode where they all sit around in a circle and say, oh, so what happened was this, blah, 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 or like Murder, She Wrote or something. I don't know. It lacked any aura of mystery and awe by the end because it was just over-illuminated, I guess, the solution or the answers to all the mysteries. And I thought that some of the explanations for what the malevolent force in the house did to manipulate people, in particular what it did to manipulate the female medium, Florence. It was all very convoluted, and not just in that it was hard to follow, but just in that it was just too much, too complicated, too convoluted, and not satisfying to read. And I really didn't like the obsession with female sexuality and restraint and purity, the abhorrence of homosexuality just being equated almost with evil. It's 1970 in this book, not 1870. It's a little Puritan for me. And again, the trope of equating sexual liberation with depravity and evil is like something that I just don't need to keep reading about. But I very much enjoyed the vibes of this haunted house story. It was an enjoyable read. I mean, I read it in like a day. What do I want to say? Something I didn't like how it ended. I just didn't like how it was all wrapped up with a bow and I think over-explained. So I didn't love this book, but I liked it. I think this is 3 stars for me. I might read it again, but it is not as good as The Haunting of Hill House, which I liked better because it was more vague, left more to your imagination, and it was more psychologically deep, I think. And it just did just enough instead of doing too much. This is not the scariest haunted house story ever written. I'm sorry, Stephen King, but you are incorrect. Now, granted, I just don't really get scared by things. Like, I would definitely read more by him. Yeah, every positive that I have about this book is somehow tempered by, like, another aspect of that same positive aspect. So, it's a 3-star read. It's not a bad book. Some people will probably find this horrifying. And with that said, I have finished Spookathon 2019. I kind of can't believe it. Neither can Philip. Spookathon was really, really fun this year. I did enjoy all of these vlogs. Yeah, this was an interesting one. I was very distracted a little bit of the time. But I still think it was a good readathon. It was a success for me. I read 3 books. I didn't hate any of them. I loved Water Shall Refuse Them. And then I read 2 3-star books after that. So I guess that's what? That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Divided by 3 means we're at about a 3.3 average for this. No, it was 5. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 divided by 3. So a little bit more. Like 3.75. I don't know, math. I enjoyed Spookathon. I love Spookathon. I'm so glad I took part again. Thank you guys for watching all these vlogs. The real horror here is me editing all of the footage from me cooking dinner last night and all of my talking from last night and tonight and putting it all together because I just feel like this is going to be a beast to edit. And I don't know when it's going to go up because it's 3:30 and I'm not about to start editing right now. That's how it is. So, Spookathon has completed for my 2nd year in a row. So, thank you guys so much for watching these vlogs and for being here. You guys are awesome. Thank you for your patience for this vlog and 2 vlogs ago, which was also delayed. I'm still going to definitely read, I think, well, I don't know what I'm reading next because I do want to read The Shining, but I have some plans for November that I haven't told you about, and maybe The Shining can fit into those plans. Not totally sure, and it is 3 in the morning or 3:30 in the morning, so don't expect too much clarity out of me right now. I'm basically intent upon reading Powers of Darkness and Dracul before the end of the month, so we'll see about The Shining and Something Wicked This Way Comes. I'm not sure exactly where they're going to fit in, but I will figure that out and you will hear about it from me very, very soon. So if you enjoyed this video, that's awesome. You can hit that thumbs up button and I really appreciate that. If you love this video, you can also subscribe to my channel and I really appreciate that as well. You guys are awesome. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, burning book recommendations, you can leave them in the comment box below. It is your friend. And I will be here in the dark reading until the next time we meet, which should be relatively soon. And so, bye.